sometimes that's such a very long reach. The episode started off with the young MC performing Bust a Move. It was awesome. Alright, I got ahead of myself. Let's do a little behind my act of kindness. It rained a lot last night. And a lot of people are starting to dread, specifically in the city of Rochester. Then again, it's Rochester, so I'm not entirely surprised. That Friday it's going to be like 52 degrees, nice and warm. And within 2 hours, it's going to drop 20 degrees. And then they're going to get snow showers. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that is true or not. But man, I would hate the month of March to end on such a sour note like that. Especially when I kind of thought we were all done with all the snow. And here's the thing, like, I'm here last night watching The Masked Singer, and, like, it's clearly too warm for it to be, like, legit snowing. I could see snow. It's just clearly not sticking, which is very much the case right now. I mean, there's, like, honestly, the only thing out there that is even reminiscent of last night is the fact that I see a bunch of puddles out there. But, you know, I live across the street from like a giant parking lot. Of course there's going to be, you know, dips and everything in one of those parking lots. But it's crazy. I mean, even when we're already, just like 10 days into spring, and we could still get the possibility of, like, snow. It amazes me, like, the kind of weather that upstate New York has. That's okay, though. I love upstate New York. Even Rochester. Which is saying a lot because for a long time I hated the city of Rochester. I'd make peace. It's cool. I love you, Rochester. Although I will admit, I love your design for the garbage plate, but mac salad, really. Now, if it was mac and cheese, I'd be okay with it. Mac salad? I don't know, man. Because, I mean, well, here's the thing. Like, I don't hate mac salad. I'll have some if it's there. But when you break it down, there are far better sides to any kind of meal. And, like, mac salad's gotta be, like, near the bottom. It has to. Although that does remind me, mac salad is a mom food I probably shouldn't talk about. Simply because my late great aunt actually, that was one of her things. Problem is though, I never really had it. So, I mean, I guess the impact it had on a lot of people in my family, that would make for a good mom food chronicle, I suppose. Okay, you know what, I'll get to that another time. I gotta talk about The Masked Singer. So, my low is the fact that everyone's dreading the upcoming weather this weekend. My high is the fact that, you know, we had a really great episode of The Masked Singer last night. And my act of kindness was yesterday when I was visiting my dad for a little while. I actually brought home the garbage. I brought home the garbage. Well, the garbage is empty. Just said, you know, bring it in the garage. As you know, yet Wednesday was garbage day, and by the afternoon, the garbage clearly has already been taken out. And I went to bed really late last night. Man, I don't know why. I just can't fall asleep. And whenever I do, I just can't seem to, like, if I fall asleep, I'm immediately worried I'm going to sleep in. By the way, don't ask me to set my alarm. I tried that. I always wake up hours early before the alarm. And then the alarm hits, I press it and I immediately go back to sleep. Seriously. I've tried it before. It does not work on me. Good morning and happy Thursday, everyone. So, I mentioned the episode starts off with young MC performing Bust a Move, which, welcome to the 80's, ladies and gentlemen, which, I'm in no way an expert on the 80's. I mean, yes, by all accounts, technically I am an 80's baby, because my birthday is December 28th, 1989. But that's literally the last 3 days of the decade. Like, I'm not going to stand up here or sit on this camera in front of you and be like, I remember the 80's. I know how things are supposed to be. I'm not going to do that. I'm in no way an expert on being able to do that. I mean, my brother's birthday is this upcoming April, and he was born in 1988. He's not an expert either. Although, I just want to point out one thing right now. Well, I don't know if I'm going to get flack for this, but one of my favorite female comedians, Eliza Schlesinger, pointed out, like, the very age where, like, the millennials were born, or whatever. I do not consider myself a millennial. No. Like, I think it's like 83. That's, like, the age of, like, the beginning of the millennial. But, like, no. I am not an 80's baby. I am not a millennial. I am not a millennial. Seriously, when the idea for what a millennial is first came out, I'm like, no, that's not me. I am far too smart. I use too much common sense, and I don't dress up in any way, shape, or form like a hipster enough to warrant the title of being called a millennial. And if you have any self-respect, you shouldn't call yourself a millennial either. But that's just me. So, let's see. For this episode of The Masked Singer, it was A's night, and we got a new trio of masked celebrities. And I gotta say, every single song in this night, not only have I heard before, I've listened many times throughout the course of my life. And honestly, I didn't think it'd be a better way to get started than with the Doll doing Don't You Forget About Me, My Simple Minds. The very iconic song from The Breakfast Club, which in my movies on both 50/50 and Pitch Perfect, when talking about Pitch Perfect, I talked about how Pitch Perfect actually ruined that song for me, because whenever I hear Don't You, I'm like, you're amazing. I hate doing that. Pitch Perfect's a great movie, but man, I can't stand that they ruined that song for me. If you've seen Pitch Perfect, you know exactly what moment I'm referring to. I can assure you. But yeah, the Doll was great doing that song. Scorpio did Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper, which, yeah, girls should have fun. I'm a guy, so I don't really, am I okay? Am I okay if a guy says that girls should have fun if they want to? Is that bad? I mean, I think it's good. I don't know. Oh, the curses of trying to be PC in a modern PC world. Okay. Okay, so then the last performance was the Moose. Moose! Straight up, I really was rooting for the Moose. It's a moose, guys. It's the Moose. Moose. Alright. So, okay. Remember, like, in the 90's when Rugrats was going on, and, like, whenever they could, they would bring about the concept of the moose? Like, there was an episode where they were moose hunting. They're pretending they were animals, and Phil's like, what sound? So Phil, what sound are you gonna make? I'm gonna be the moose. Mooses don't make sound. Apparently, the sound of a moose is like, moose, moose. Okay, I'm sorry. What can I say, man? It's funny. By the way, for those of you, grammatically challenged, the plural form for moose is moose. Okay, so the moose did The Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News. And because I watched Family Guy when it first came out, oh my god, I missed the news! We all missed the news, Meg. But Huey Lewis needs time to create, and we all have to be patient. Okay, alright, I'm done. Okay, not done yet. But, so, the moose, sadly, was the first to get eliminated. And it turns out it was George Wendt, who was most known for being on Cheers. You know what? See, you have to understand, I grew up in the 90s. Shows like Cheers and Taxi and even popular shows from way back then that have stood the test of time, like the Golden Girls. Actually, the Golden Girls ended shortly after I was born. But by the time it was over, I was too young to actually watch it. So, like, I've seen a lot of the Golden Girls. Like, seriously, the Golden Girls is probably the best show of the 80s. Arguably so. But, and I have seen Taxi, mostly because, I love Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito's a treasure, dude. And there's a few other great actors on the show. Tony Danza, Judd Hirsch, Christopher Lloyd. So yeah, it's a great show. I never saw Cheers though. Although I do know the theme song. I can't sing the song because I don't know the copyrights. But come on, we live in the day of the internet and YouTube. You can look up the title. You can look up the song intro. So for the Battle Royale, it was Scorpio and the Doll. And they did Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran. Which, I gotta say, in terms of, this is technically only the second season with the battle rounds. But consistently, or battle royales, these have been the most evenly matched battle royales I think we've had. And granted, there really isn't that much of a sample size because it's only the second season that they've actually done this. Well, in a row. I think they did it for season 3 maybe? Or 4? Something along those lines. But, they did it, but they now have it as a consistent sort of thing to end the show, or end the episode. And it's great. Scorpio went off like a champ, but then the Doll showed up, and I need to say the Doll made his case. Although I could not tell you who the Doll is. Not at all. The Doll was just, upon walking on stage, you thought the Doll was a girl, but it turns out it's a guy. I'm like, okay, whoever is wearing the Doll is clearly the kind of person who has a rather dark and twisted sense of humor. Because the Doll itself looks really creepy. For little kids, that is. I'm a grown man. Stuff like that doesn't scare me anymore. So, if you're a little kid and you were given that doll as a gift, I'm not entirely sure if you'd be okay with it. Well, some kids wouldn't be okay with it. Some kids would. I'm sure. Honestly, it would depend on who the kid is, you know? But Scorpio lost, and it was Christine Quinn. And it was so sad because Robin Thicke was like this close to getting it right, too. It was actually really funny. I'll tell you what, though. Jenny McCarthy's been great at getting a lot of these right so far. She got George Wendt last night. I forget who else she got right so far this year. But a lot of the judges have been getting these right off the bat. And I love that. I mean, yeah, Ken, let's be honest, Ken is clearly doing what he's doing as a shtick. That's all he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to be funny. He's trying to create controversy, you know. But, you know, that's Ken Jeong. That's his style of humor. If you don't like that, then, you know, that's fine. You don't have to like it. Especially when you have Robin Thicke, Jamie McCarthy, Wahlberg, and Nicole Scherzinger up there as also people who are funny. So, there you go. So, yeah. It was great going back to the 80s last night. I mean, do I have a favorite song from the 80s? Well, in terms of last night, I would say Don't You Forget About Me, which was sung by the Doll, you know, is probably my favorite. Come to think of it, it's actually no surprise that the Doll was the one who moved on. So, yeah, it was a great episode overall last night. Today we have a Florence Pugh on Hot Ones. Can't wait for that. Should be a should be an okay day today. I think it's gonna be okay. I hope y'all like this video. If you like this on YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very homemade this video for all you guys watching. Enjoy for today. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And remember, if you guys want to talk or channel with me here to Linda, always be back. Take care, make good choices. 607 baby. This is just the last Thursday of the month of March. This is the penultimate day of March. That's crazy. This week's actually been going by pretty quickly. Who knows how fast today will go? It's such a far reach.